This is part 5 of Federalist number 15. We continue with this is the melancholy situation to which we have been brought by those very maxims and counsels which would now deter us from adopting the proposed Constitution. He says the same people that have been disappointing us, the same people who are not willing to see the truth, why our Constitution, why our country is in such a bad situation, are the same people that are saying no, and they're trying to tell you to say no to this Constitution, to deter you, to push you to think otherwise, and which, not content with having conducted us to the brink of a precipice, seem resolved to plunge us into the abyss that awaits us below. Here, my countrymen, impelled by every motive that ought to influence and enlighten people, let us make a firm stand for our safety, our tranquility, our dignity, our reputation. Let us at last break the fatal charm which has too long seduced us from the paths of felicity and prosperity, from the calm path of, peaceful path of peace and prosperity. So the same people that have been saying half-truths about this Constitution, they're the same people that are encouraging you not to ratify this Constitution, and they're gradually taking all of us to the precipice, to the edge, where you will fall off, where we will fall off the cliff into our destruction. So he's saying, do not be fooled by their words, because they're just pushing us, and before we know it, we'll come to the edge and we will fall into our doom and destruction and destroy this beautiful experience that we want to engage in, to start this beautiful experience of federalism. Then he goes to the next paragraph. He says, it is true, as has been before observed, that facts too stubborn to be resisted have produced a species of general assent to the abstract proposition that there exist material defects in our national system. But the usefulness of the concession on the part of the old adversaries of the federal measures is destroyed by a strenuous opposition to a remedy upon the only principle that can give it a chance of success. While they admit that the government of the United States is destitute of energy, they contend against conferring upon it those powers which are requisite to supply that energy. They say, okay, we know the government really cannot do all the things it wants to do. It's destitute of energy. It has no energy. It's like a poor person when it comes to energy, being able to do things. But he says, at the same time, they are denying it the authority, the energy that it needs to do its part. And at the beginning of the paragraph, it is true, as has been observed, the facts too stubborn to be resisted have produced a species of general assent to abstract propositions that there exist material defects. And he says, even though we are presenting you with facts that nobody can deny or argue about, okay, these people, these opponents of ours, are coming up with crazy ideas to put in your head so that you think we really don't need this union. They seem still to aim at things repugnant and irreconcilable, at an augmentation of federal authority without a diminution of state authority. So here he's starting to get the readers to understand that those who oppose the Constitution, they're saying that every time you augment the federal authority, you add to the federal authority, you give it more power, it's to the diminution. It decreases, it lowers the authority of the states. But he's saying this is not the truth. This is misreading of what we've presented you. They still, in fine, seem to cherish with blind devotion the political monster of an imperium in imperio. You'll hear this over and over again. Imperium in imperio. A sovereignty within a sovereignty. A state within a state. This renders a full display of the principal defects of the Confederation necessary in order to show that the evils we experience do not proceed from minute or partial imperfections, but from fundamental errors in the structure of the building, which cannot be amended otherwise than by an alteration in the first principles and main pillars of the fabric. So they are so worried that they lose complete authority in the state that they're even willing to accept this crazy idea that we say at that time, imperio in imperio. This, I might not have time to finish this thought in this video. Back then, a lot of these people, these anti-federalists, would think this is a zero-sum game, what we call today a zero-sum game. In other words, if federal government wins or gets more authority, states lose and get less authority. Whereas in this federal union, in this Constitution, it says no, there are certain times and certain things that you have absolute authority. And we in the federal government have enumerated power, enumerated authorities. Only the things you have given us, only the thing the Constitution says. So we are going to be sovereign in one aspect of things. You are going to be sovereign on one aspect of things. We're going to make the last call on some aspect of things, and you will make the last call on some aspect of things. And this way we will go forward.